Carol. Let's just take a moment to arrive. So bring your attention to the next 3 breaths. You can sit on the floor, on a chair, maybe lie down. Notice the rise and fall of your chest and belly, the sounds around you, the thoughts that you're arriving with. We can just take this short time to notice all the sensations of the body and bring our mind back to what's happening right now. So as you're ready, we can transition into standing, or it's okay to stay seated or lying down. Just take a moment to see what it feels like to be in your body right now. Noticing the feet, the spine. So you might shake out your hands and feet, just taking a moment to move, shake out the dust before we welcome in some stillness. So you can rub your hands together, bring your hands to the low back, bringing some attention to the pelvis, maybe moving the hips around, noticing the weight of the pelvis, the contact with your feet on the ground. Maybe shaking out the hands and feet again. Bringing some attention to the spine. You might touch the spine. Noticing the vertebra, the length of the spine. And then bringing the hands over your eyes. Just noticing if there's any extra tension around the orbit of the eyes and seeing if we can let that go. So from here, in your own time, bringing awareness, some gentle touch or movement from the head down to the toes. Maybe giving yourself a head massage, checking in with the scalp, feeling the jaw, giving the ears a little tug. Relaxing the jaw, shaking out the hands and feet whenever you need a little break. Giving some attention to the chest, the rib cage, shoulders, arms. Maybe circling the arms. Noticing all the way that the arms and shoulders can move. Feeling the weight of the arms, the weight of the head, the connection with the head and the pelvis. Feeling the chest, the belly, taking some extra time today to tend to the belly, noticing if there's any extra tension, any holding in the belly, and seeing if we can let that go. Moving the rib cage, the hips, the pelvis, following the legs down to the feet and ankles. Maybe shaking out the hips, maybe offering some movement, some touch to the legs and feet, checking in with the toes. Noticing what the breath feels like as we move. Welcoming in any last wiggles, following what wants to happen in your body, and then being curious about the transition to welcome in stillness. So again, you can sit on a pillow, on a chair, maybe you lie down. Wherever you are, just checking in with the pelvis, with the spine. You might rock the pelvis forward and back, side to side. Noticing the length of the spine, the weight of the head. And seeing if you can find an alignment for your body that feels easy, so that your bones are stacked up in a way that you feel supported by the ground. There's no extra work. So once you've found that space, closing the eyes or softening the gaze, and bringing the focus to the breath. Noticing what it feels like as you fill and empty. That even in stillness, we're not actually still. Noticing the sounds around us. The air on our skin. The contact with the ground. Letting ourselves be completely supported by the ground. Letting go of any extra effort. Taking this time to not have to do anything. Know where to go. The breath just happens on its own, and we follow the waves in and out. Noticing the thoughts as they come and go. Letting them just pass by like clouds in the sky. And when we're hooked by a story, just noticing, coming back to the breath. Letting the belly be soft. Letting the jaw be heavy. Relaxing the shoulders. Noticing if there's any extra tension in the body and seeing if there's a tiny adjustment, tiny movement that you might make to let that extra work go. Letting the breath be slow and long. letting our bodies completely fill and completely empty with breath. Feeling the gentle movements in the spine and pelvis. And letting our thoughts slow down. Coming back to the sensations that we notice right now. The taste inside the mouth. The texture of clothing. Breath moving out and in through the nose and mouth. Maybe bringing a hand to the belly, a hand to the chest, just feeling the movement of breath here. Noticing the connections between the pelvis, the spine, and the head. Feeling the weight of the body and really giving in to gravity, letting the full weight of the body be held by the ground. No extra effort. Seeing if there's any movement in the low belly and the pelvic floor as you breathe in and out. Noticing the rib cage expand and contract. Letting the shoulders be broad. The spine long. And bringing our attention to the next 3 breaths. Enjoying these last few moments of stillness before we welcome in movement. and in your own time. Beginning to allow a bit more movement. Noticing if there are any tiny movements wanting to happen. Maybe rounding the spine. Rocking the pelvis back and forth. Forward and back. Noticing how the breath changes as we move. Letting the belly be soft. Maybe exploring tiny circles with the spine. Noticing when there's resistance or extra effort. And not pushing past that. Going slower, letting the movements be smaller. When we notice that there's any extra effort, just seeing if we can let this be easy. So today we'll bring some extra attention to the belly. This whole region of the abdomen. Exploring what the belly feels like today. The low belly all the way down to the pelvis. This area around the ribs. Maybe exploring with a little bit of touch. Mapping out this whole region. Letting it be really soft and gentle. Just bringing some curiosity. Noticing the organs. These hard bony landmarks, the hip bones, maybe exploring the spine, noticing how the spine relates to the belly. You might try rounding in, letting the belly be soft on the exhale. And then feeling an expansion on the inhale. Following your own breath. Your own impulse to move. Noticing the jaw, seeing how the jaw relates to the belly, to the pelvis. Letting this movement be really soft, really easy, not pushing, not pulling. You don't have to do it right. It's not an exercise. We're not stretching. Simply exploring the body's ability to move. Noticing all the little connections, the snake-like undulations of the spine, and how that relates to the belly, to the pelvis, to the head. To the breath. Seeing if there's an impulse to follow gravity, letting the head be heavy. Letting the spine be long and soft. Whenever there's resistance, moving slower, letting the movements be smaller. Noticing the connection between the shoulders and the pelvis, belly. Seeing if there's a connection between movement and breath. And letting the movement get smaller and smaller. Till you find your way back to stillness. Just taking a moment to notice how your breath feels now. Noticing the sensations of the body. Noticing any changes in the mind. Maybe your mind has slowed down. Maybe your breath has slowed down. Releasing the jaw. Relaxing the shoulders. Softening the belly, taking as much time as you need to be still. You can lie down, you can sit, you can stand. Seeing if we can enjoy this moment. Of simply being in this body. Maybe bringing a hand to the belly, a hand to the chest. Noticing the length of the spine, the weight of the body, the connection with the ground.